Hello and Merry Christmas. I'm Andy RC and today is a special video. It is filmed in 4K 60, so if your device can handle it, then get in that bottom corner and up the resolution, because I have fitted a DJI Pocket Osmo to a 250 mini quad. Now, I'm sure when DJI came up with the concept of this guy, it was not their intention for us to fit it on a 250 size mini quad. However, I have a feeling that the FPV community took a look at this and thought, the price of that isn't bad, and it's small and lightweight, and basically they've given us a Mavic gimbal that can do 4K 60, and I've seen some people try it out already and they haven't been getting some good results, and I think I know the reason why. You see, here we have got the DJI Spork, and as you can see, the camera is dampened here. Now, this is meant for vloggers, so it doesn't need any dampening. In fact, it's got active track on there for face tracking. It's not meant for a quadcopter at all. Or is it though? Because it's got a mode on there called FPV, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, you see, these days we don't need to dampen our cameras because GoPros are just so good that they can deal with the vibrations, and we don't really get rolling shutter if you've got a decent frame. So I thought to myself, what model do I have that has got dampening on it? And then I dug out this guy. This is my ZMR 250, and it's from back in the day when we were using Mobius cameras and you needed dampening, and that has fixed the problems with the Jallo that people were getting with this device. Now, it's not perfect, and I'll show you why. By the way, it is just cable tied on here. Now, if you mount it in this way, the gimbal is limited on its upward angle. So if I turn it on, just have this button here, and it's got this tiny screen. This plugs into a phone, by the way, to make it easier, because this is a touch screen, but it's very difficult. You can see we've got these modes here. So we've got follow, which is like a normal handheld gimbal. And then we've got tilt locked, but then look at this, FPV suggests that it is meant to go on a FPV quadcopter, don't it? Anyways, let me just move that down. And what you can do is you can then tilt the gimbal up. And what this mode does is it smooths every axis out. So it doesn't lock the tilt and doesn't lock the pitch, it just sort of smooths it out. The problem is, as I say, is that when you get to a certain angle, this won't push up any further than that, and a lot of the time it is looking at the ground. Did you see there? It actually reset because it reached its gimbal limits there, but I can just move it back up there. But fear not, because there is something that we can do. You see, as this is a vlogging style camera, it has got a selfie mode. So if I just lift that up and reverse the camera, then what I can do is I can give us some up tilt like that, and now we have got up tilt the same as the camera. Now, unfortunately, when I did my test flight, I didn't give it quite enough up tilt, so it was still facing the ground. In fact, it does actually follow, so you really still do have to be careful how you fly, because you will see that it will just lock on that angle there. So, you know, if you alter your speed, then it is still gonna face to the ground. So yeah, maybe we need some more FPV options, but if you are finding that you are doing this and it's facing the ground all the time, stick it in selfie mode, and then you can give yourself, well, you can give yourself crazy angle if you want, if you fly at crazy angle, and then, you know, it shouldn't be too bad. Anyways, I think I got some pretty good footage out of this, and you know what's good as well? It goes in front of the props, so you don't get the props in shot, and I can actually view what it is doing from my FPV camera. Now, I have my FPV camera pretty flat, but if it's freaking out or anything like that, then you can land and reset it. But I tell you what, it actually never tricked out. It's pretty impressive, this thing, even though it is not designed for a mini quad. So let's get and take a look at some 4K 60 footage. Okay, so we are in the FPV mode there, and you did see a little wobble, but that was just the dampener there as the motors start up, and you can hear straight away that the audio goes weird and it just sort of like cuts off. I think like it realizes that it's too loud and it's clipping, and instead of trying to deal with it, it just completely cuts the audio out. So yeah, you can't use the audio. But just look at this. I think this looks fantastic, and I could not trick it out at all. What I have done though is I've tried to cut out as much as possible of where it was facing the ground, because that is a downside of doing this, is that you can't see what the gimbal is seeing. And of course on a DJI model you can see it, whether it's using the light bridge or whatever system. OcuSync, is that the other one? I hit a tree there as well. So yeah, you can't control it when it's in the air, so really it's just a hack. And wouldn't it be awesome if DJI gave us some of that goodness for our mini quads? But we are probably not worth their time. Just look how misty it is there. It's actually raining as well, and didn't get any spots on the camera. Yeah, the field of view on this one as well is narrower, so 80 degrees field of view. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think this is adding anything? Now, what you cannot see is that this copter actually has got two massive nicks in the propellers, and the DVR footage was getting so much jello in it. It's a CMOS camera in this copter, but it did not transfer through to the gimbal, so it really is helping that dampening there. And as you can see though, you know, quite difficult to know what the gimbal is doing, but really acting nicely in the rolls and the dives. And with the 4K 60, I am absolutely loving this, and look how well this is flying. It is KISS, of course. And yeah, I really wanted to do another flight where I changed the camera angle a bit more, but unfortunately I've had another KISS ESC explode on me. So yeah, these are actually the 18 amps. But as you can see, if you level it out there, you can get some really smooth footage. But you can do that with a GoPro 7 as well. But I really like this dive that I do here. I don't like the form factor of the GoPro 7 though. I really wish that they would do a Session 6 that did 4K 60, and then we wouldn't need any of this. But I thought it'd be fun to play around with on Christmas Day, and you know, maybe fun for you guys to watch as well. And you know, if you're interested in this Pocket Osmo, you know, it is pretty impressive. Look at that inverted yaw spin in FPV mode, and it did not trick out. One thing I will say is I haven't been too impressed with it as a vlogging device. Now here I have switched to the locked mode, so this is just how it would perform if it was on a DJI model, and we've got lots of shots of the ground there because obviously I can't see what it is doing, so yeah, it's not as long, this flight, because I've cut it a little bit, but yeah, it's nice and stable. It's just that flight controllers these days on mini quads are so good that they can be as stable as something that's got a gimbal, but this is where it really shines, is when you take it up high and you know it's slightly looking down. That is what these camera drones are all about, really, I guess. But I don't know, I had a lot of fun playing around with it, I have to say. Whether it is bringing more to the table than a GoPro, I'm not too sure, but I love 60 FPS and I love 4K as well. By the way, as I'm commentating on this, because it is a 100 megabit 4K, I've got a fast computer, but it would not preview in Premiere, so I'm having to export it separately and then commentate over the top and then add that over the top again. So, you know, you have to have a fast computer for this thing. But yeah, just messing around there by the trees, and yeah, this is something you can't really do with a DJI model, and that is give it full beans. Look at that mist there as well. But yeah, as I say, I'd love to know what you guys think, and if you are interested, I will link to the Pocket Osmo in the below. But as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe, and Merry Christmas.